I think what's happened is pace of game. They really, back in the day when Sandy Alderson was there, that was Bud Selig and Sandy's really, big baby they wanted to create. And they did a great job. We worked hard. We got the pace of game moving along. And let's face it, baseball's a beautiful sport. You're always going to have your extra innings. Someone's always going to go out of there a winner. But a quick and well-played game is what everybody wants. Fans come to the ballpark to see strikeouts, see the ball put in play, home runs. They don't come for walks. They don't come for 3.5-hour games. They like to have excitement. That being said, the pace of game boils, this is my opinion, Hunter Wendelstedt's opinion, it boils down to a few things. Back in the early 50s, 60s, 70s, everybody didn't have their walk-up song. Everybody did not wait in the batter's box or in the on-deck circle until their song played, and then slowly approach the plate. Everybody didn't step out of the batter's box after every pitch to adjust their batting gloves, or they would step out if they were getting a sign, get the sign, and get back in. The game's evolved. I mean, these guys are the best in the world. They're superstars, and I think the fans want to see some of that. The fans used to love Mark McGwire not taking a warm-up swing over there, and then they announce him, and he would just slowly walk up to the plate and then crank one out of the ballpark. So there's all kinds of things we can do to speed up the game. And as umpires, we're ready to try our best because for us, we call it the dance floor. And that's the dance floor with 20 cameras. And like we talked about earlier, if you can get on that dance floor, take care of business, and get off without anybody seeing you, that's a good night. And the quicker you can do that, the less likely you're going to have problems. So we're going to grab onto this pace of game and try our best to do it.
It seems like the responsibility of making sure that the second base umpire has a stopwatch in his hand and is thinking about these things, it seems like something that could easily distract an umpire.
There's a couple things to touch on right there. I can tell you right now, there's not an umpire out there that we could care less about starting that watch if there's something else happening, okay? There's an order of responsibilities as an umpire, and not to go through the whole thing, but the first thing is whether the ball is fair or foul. Nothing can happen unless you've decided there. I would say stopwatch is probably at the end of the list of responsibilities. If a play's going on and something's happening, we're going to go take care of that. Once all the play is completed, third out is recorded, we're going to reach into our pocket, hit the stopwatch, and then we're going to mentally adjust for what we thought we might have missed, whether it's 4 or 5 seconds before we got it out. But that's not going to be a big deal. Pace of game is more. They want us to keep it flowing, especially with like American League teams. There's no reason for the pitcher, as soon as the third out's made, there's no reason for the pitcher not to be on the mound warming up. The same thing, with the National League, we got to really push the pitchers along. Greg Maddux was the best. Greg Maddux would ground out. He'd hustle, his butt down to first base. He'd get called out. He'd turn around. He'd walk right to the mound, take his 5 or 6 warm-up pitches, and be ready to go in a minute and a half. We'd have to slow him up. And, today it's the same thing. A pitcher gets done. They hustle down to first base, and now they come, and it's been ingrained into their head. Now they have to get a drink of water. Now they have to just towel off. Now they have to, then walk out and get their pitches. So that's where you're getting, instead of a 2-minute in between innings, you're getting a 3.5, 4.5. And that's where baseball has a problem. And I agree with them. We don't want half innings to be 4.5 minutes in between. And then you're throwing God Bless America, and you got 6 minutes in between an inning. That's not good.